So hello everyone, my name is Rev Rick. And as some of you know, I did an internship here and loved every moment of it. So when Reverend Sean asked me to come share some time with you, it was awesome. And I said yes, so here I am. So it's a sports kind of day, so let's get everybody up and we're going to run around the block. No? No, okay. I have some medals around my neck. Anybody have an idea what they are? Marathons. For this big old guy?
Could have been a spiritual marathon.
You're actually correct. They are marathons.
Woo!
They are marathons. And that's what I'm going to be talking about today. Some of you may know, it may be harder to see on Facebook, that I'm a big guy. I'm 6'4", we'll skip the weight. And so for marathons, I'm considered, there's classes, people, and I'm considered Clydesdale. That's the official ranking in marathon running, is Clydesdale. And I know that's associated with beer, but I didn't get it associated with running. So it didn't instill a lot of confidence in me when they told me, oh, you're in the Clydesdale group. So I went, all right. But what happened was, I think I was watching TV one time. I have 4 kids, and I actually have my daughter and granddaughter here today. And so I wanted to instill an object lesson that you can do anything that you set your mind to. So being here, Mr. Clydesdale, class is like, oh, well, I'm not gonna, but that's something I can do. I can do a marathon. And so a commercial came on for the Rock and Roll Marathon in San Diego. So I said, that's it. That's what I'm gonna do. And so I got all the details and signed up for it. And I was actually in preparation for it. And so I went on to Google, because everybody goes on to Google. And it was like, okay, what do I need to know? The big message I got was shoes. Shoes are important. And so I found, close to my work, I found a running store that had shoes. So I went in there and I said, hey, I'm doing this marathon. And so they said, well, you need shoes and you need this and you need that. So they ran through all my gear that I needed. So I was like, okay, that's good. I got all the gear. And so then I researched about training. A marathon is 26.2 miles. That is a long way, especially for a Clydesdale. But anyway, and so I read about the training and was like, okay, they tell you don't do a marathon, do like up to 10 miles in your training. And so I didn't know that part. I read that part later about just doing 10 miles. And so I was in the running store, and later I found out this was a joke. But they told me, well, you have to do a marathon in preparation for your marathon.
Oh, dear.
I went, really? Oh, yeah. If you really want to show in the Rock and Roll Marathon, you got to pick a marathon beforehand. I went, all right. So I did. I signed up for the San Diego Marathon. And the San Diego Marathon was in January. So I'm like, all right, here I go. So I signed up, had all my gear, off I went to the San Diego Marathon. I started that marathon, and I started going, how many miles do you remember? 26.2. And they tell you in all the dialogue, don't think about the miles. If you're thinking about the miles, you're in trouble. And then a conscious choice that I made was I'm not doing it for speed, for time. Some of those marathons are 2.5, 3 hours of time. It's like, no, I just want to finish. I want to set my mind to finishing. And so I finished that marathon. And that's this one. And so while I was there, they have like a sports expo the day before. You go and get your bib, and you can buy all kinds of stuff. Well, I went there, and they had a drawing for charity. And I went, okay, well, I'm loving this marathon thing, and, I'll give money to charity. So they said, well, you can get a raffle ticket. You can get a raffle ticket for the hardest marathon in North America, top 5 in the world. And it's restricted to only 3,000 people, and it's sold out every year. And so if you're not in that mix, you can't be it. But guess what? We have a space available in this raffle. All right, well, I'm not going to win that, but I'll give you the money for the donation. I won the raffle. I won the raffle. And so this was, did I say this was the hardest marathon in North America? And you remember that I'm a Clydesdale? So I said, well, got to do it. I mean, there's 3,000 people is all that is allowed to do it. And so I flew up to Northern California and the Big Sur Marathon. Whoa. The hardest marathon in North America. And so here I had this, this thing going, and by the way, I'm still a Clydesdale even after 2 marathons. That's just who I am. And so then what's coming up? My inaugural marathon, the one I was going to do. And I already have 2 under my belt. So I did the Rock and Roll Marathon, and I finished that, and that's this one. And did you notice that all 3 were in the same year? January, April, June. That's 3 marathons in a year, and I don't do marathons. Did I tell everybody that? I don't do marathons. But I set my mind to it, and that's what I was going to do. And through this process, I kind of learned that, yes, it was an object lesson for my kids to know that you can do anything you set your mind to, but it became a lesson for me. I can do anything I set my mind to. And so the year went through, and I retired. In June, I retired from marathon. And then I was at my company, and I had a group of people that reported to me. It was like 40 people, and there was a guy. Everybody has that guy. So there's a guy on my team that's saying, well, I'm going to run in the inaugural Orange County Marathon. And I went, oh, okay, great. He goes, I have this training program, and he was in his 20s, I think 23, 24. And he said, you have to train by doing sprints, you have to do this, and he rattled off this whole training program. And I asked him, are you doing it for time? And I said, what do you mean, doing it for time? Are you trying to get a set ending time? And he goes, no, I just want to finish. So you don't need all that. There's just basic stuff you have to do. And the reason I know this is because what? I've done 3 marathons. I finished. And so he's like, no, you got to do sprints, you got to do this, you got to do this. And I go, no, you don't. And so this is, okay, remember back to 20-something mind, right? Your way is always correct. I think that goes from like 18 to probably about 35. Your way is always correct. And so I'm talking with him, and I said, no, you don't need all that. I said, I'll tell you what, I'll enter the Orange County Marathon. I haven't jogged, I don't jog, I'm a Clydesdale. I'm going to enter that race, and I'll finish. He goes, no, you won't. You won't even go there. And I go, yeah, I'm going. And so he would come in and go, yep, I did my sprints today. Yep, I'm on the next step. Yep, I'm on the next step. Come probably about a week before the marathon, he comes in limping. He's limping into the office. I go, dude, what's wrong? Well, I was doing sprints and I pulled something. And so he's limping. All right, well, marathon's like 10 days away. I don't know. I don't know if I can be ready for it. I don't know. So I'm like, I didn't say anything else, right? So the marathon came. Who was there? Me. Marathon. My fourth marathon in the year, and I finished. Guess what? That was on Sunday. Guess what I did on Monday? I went to work and I wore him a medal. And I walked over to him and said, "Did you want to see what they look like?" And I told him the story that you can do anything that you set your mind to. Anything. And so here I am, and no, I have not run another marathon, though I didn't even run any of them. I was walking and jogging might be an exaggeration, but I finished, and that's what I wanted to do. And so I came into this teaching 7 years after that. And so imagine my delight whenever I read Ernest Holmes outline the plan. If you want to get something done, here's what you do. Now, if you recall my story, just think, did I do that? All right, so I didn't even know about it, but I'm connected with the one mind, so I knew about it. I just didn't know that I knew about it. Number one, know what is possible. See people finish, so I knew it was possible. Number two, know your present condition, aka Clydesdale. So I knew I wasn't running for time, I just wanted to finish. Number three, know where you want to go. I wanted to finish. I did not want to do 4. I wanted to finish. But anyway, have a map. So I had a map. The shoes, there's this thing you have to eat, which is supposed to be good, which I didn't like, called goo, give you energy, and then water, hydration, all this stuff. That was my map. And the practicing up until going, my map. This one, I think, the next one, number 5, I think I had nailed down. Have a deep desire. From hearing me speak right now about this from many years ago, does it sound like I had a deep desire to finish, to do this? Yes, I did. Number 6, have the courage to overcome. I can guarantee you this smile, this enthusiasm was not there at mile 20 or mile 21 or each number after that. It wasn't until after it was over and I was sitting in the chair 2 days later, I smiled. But I had the courage to overcome. I knew it was going to be hard. I knew that it was going to take all I had to finish. But I knew I could do it. I knew I had that courage. And then number 7 is action. You want to get something done, you got to have action. So what do you think of Holmes' plan to kind of cover everything? And have you guys heard those steps before from Holmes? Anybody? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I found it in the How to Use the Science of Mind, the little green book, and it was awesome. It was great. And another thing that Holmes talks about is that there's 3 elements. There's 3 elements to live. Live your life, there's 3 elements. The first one is faith. You have to have faith in a power greater than we are. And that's in your mind, and you kind of, you work on that continually, and sometimes you're at different levels of your belief, but as you repeat it over and as you live that life, you know that there's a power greater than you are. That's faith. The one that comes after that is conviction. Conviction. That we live in a divine presence which wishes only good for us. Only good. That divine presence of God is for us and not against us. So now we've got faith and conviction. And so, did the guy that didn't run the marathon, do you think he had faith and conviction?
No.
Well, actually he did.
Faith and
He had faith and conviction that he wanted to do it, not that he was going to do it, that he wanted to do it. And the reason I call that out is because the third element that you have to have, according to Holmes, to actually live your life is intention. It's intention. It's energy plus intention equals manifestation. So the guy that kind of bailed out, that's what he was missing, is that intention that he was going to finish. And so, as you can see there with the 7 steps and then what Holmes talks about in faith, conviction, and intention, is that it takes all 3. You know, as you look at that, can you live this presence in this world today and be successful and reach your unlimited potential without having faith? Not going to happen. Can you do it without having a conviction that we live in a divine presence? No. Can you do it without intention? No. So a lot of us, you know, when we talk about physical, and that's why I used it today as an example, is because with the physical, you can relate to it. You see other people that have done marathons, you've seen other people run, you see the physical of your body and know your limitations. So it's all tangible things. What happens when you get into things of spirit? So I have an area that I'm working on, which is for another talk later, which is on how does healing work? How does healing work? Now, can I go to somebody and say, how does healing work? Sure I can, but they're going to tell me how it works for them and what they understand. The thing about spirituality is you have to go and grab the basic knowledge of what you need. You have to form your own opinion, and you have to live by that because nobody has ever walked in your shoes before. And you've never walked in anybody else's shoes. As a matter of fact, it's impossible. I've done a little deal in classes, and I go, what were you doing on July 25th of 2015? And of course, everybody's like, I don't know. Unless it was a match date, you know, a special date, they don't remember. So if you can't remember every day, year, month, time of your past, and you were there, how can anybody else that wasn't there? So it's your own experience. And the other thing is there a right and a wrong? When you dive into spiritual aspects, there is not a right and a wrong. It's whatever works for you. It's one of the things that I liked about Holmes. He has a lot of logic in all of his teachings, and he said, you know what? Don't believe me. Don't believe me. Here's what I believe. You take it all in, and you create yourself and what you believe. I like that. I don't like the dogmatic, my way or the highway, or this is it, this is the only way that it goes, because that doesn't work for me. So I guess that's why I'm here. And so another quote from Holmes, spirit remains only potential. Spirit remains only potential until we act with specific intention. We take dominion and responsibility in our life by the power of our conscious choice. And that's my message for you today, is to make a conscious choice in both physical and spiritual. I did a little play on the talk title today. I said P.S., every movement counts. P, physical, S, spiritual, and old P.S., by the way. So anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there for anybody that didn't pick up on that. But anyway, I would like just to take this moment, and I'd like you to join me if you can, in closing your eyes and realizing with a surety that you are an individualized expression of God, that the divine resides within you, and that there's infinite possibilities for you in anything that you want to do. And you will have that demonstration as you demonstrate your faith, your conviction, and your intention. The world is your oyster, as the saying used to go. I guess it still goes. But I am so grateful. I am grateful for being here and talking with you today. I am grateful for knowing that God is with me and that it's God with every one of you, because God is all there is. There is no place that God is not. I share this excitement with you, and please join with me in saying, and so it is.